Hello, hello. How is it going, everybody? I know nobody's on yet, but I just want to dive right into this because I'm so freaking pumped. I'm just going to go to my computer and turn off my notifications real quick so I don't get distracted, and then make sure it's playing in our page, and then I'm going to dive in. Hope you guys are having such a good Monday. I'm so freaking pumped that this literally started out with the National Wake Up Call. Like, if you guys just watched the National Wake Up Call, like, what better than to talk about inviting after that? Because she literally like set it all up for so much success on like how to create content that really engages your audience and like builds relationships, because like you're hearing from everybody and like a million coaches in this network. We're always talking about creating connections, creating relationships, and building on those, because that is literally where your business and like how your business will build itself. But you have to do the work, and you have to like create those conversations and put effort into it, just like she was saying on the National Wake Up Call. So I'm going to walk you guys like literally through how I do my inviting process. And what's really cool about this is like, you can take all of my tips and literally apply them to your own business, like in your specific way, because everybody's different. And my specific person that would say yes to this inviting process is not necessarily going to say yes to your, like you and yours. So you have to know that like you have to take these tools and implement them into your business in your own way. But I'll keep talking about that. So just keep that in mind. But basically the first thing that I do when I'm inviting, I sit down and bring out like a super like basic notebook, guys. Like, it's not fancy. It's actually a graphing notebook, but I like it because the lines are smaller, so there's more room for more people. And I will literally just like number my paper. If you know Kate Morgan or Ashley Fell Dyson, they both do the same thing, and that's like where I learned this. So you can look up amazing trainings by them. They're legit like the best. But basically I'll just set a goal for myself. Like today I want to invite, 60 people. And so then I'll just write numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all the way to 60. And when I'm pushing for Success Club, like at the beginning of the month, or even like the last few days of the month leading into the next month, and I want to set myself up for success with that month, then I will make like massive freaking goals. Like I'll usually do like 100 people a day for like a couple days in a row. And then it kind of depends on the month. Like December's a really slow month, I know, so I have to do more work probably than like what's normal. But like November, for some reason, I had a ton of people coming to me and saying like, hey, I'm ready. And they were people I'd already built conversations with. But the thing is, you can never bank on those people unless you've literally been working for like 3 or 4 years. And even then, I wouldn't say like those coaches bank on those people. Like I never bank on anybody like signing up, even if they told me, yeah, I can sign up in December, because a lot of times they'll fall through. So I'm always committing to like this process because it keeps me in like the beginner's mindset. It keeps me like knowing and like confident that there are going to be people that sign up, and Success Club isn't going to be determined or dependent on those people who promised me, because like a lot of times they fall through, right? So that's how I start out. I'll do like my goal, maybe I'll write it on the top, 60 people, and then I'll just number it 1 through 60. And then I will literally you can go to like a few different things, but I'll go to either my stories of me working out that I post every single day, or I will go to my Instagram like transformation posts that I make. Anything that has to do with like health and fitness, where I'm kind of like already calling people to action in their own health and fitness journey. On my stories, I usually go to like the third story. I'll post like 3 or 4 stories of me working out, and I usually go to like the last one, because the people who are still watching it are probably the people that are like super interested, right? So I will go to those people. Sometimes I'll go to followers, but this is like step one. If you haven't been inviting lately. So go to those people. Let's just take like people who have been watching my story, for example. So on average, my stories get like anywhere from 300 to 800 viewers. So that's a lot of freaking people, and a lot of those people don't even necessarily follow me. Like I'll use hashtags or locations in my story, so it's really awesome as a place to just like find new people and new faces that are already interested. Like the National Wake Up Call said, like that girl said if those people are watching your stories and they're watching your posts and they're liking it or anything like that, it's kind of like you're making eye contact with them. So you like automatically, I tell myself, I like automatically getting in with this person because they are interested in what I'm doing and what I have to offer. So I have a script, like a Google document. It's called Team Wholehearted Scripts, basically, and I've shared it amongst my whole entire team. I can share it with you guys too. I just ask if I share it with you that if you change one of the like invite messages, like do it on your own page, like don't change the original one, or just like copy and paste, make a new one and then change it. But so I work from this script because going into my invites with those people, I like always have confidence. And the cool thing is like you can always change the script, but for me, I like need that confidence to go into my invites and my inviting process or like time, because sometimes I like just feel like blah, or sometimes, you know, the motivation isn't there. And so having a script is kind of like this foundation for you to be able to like rely on something and like read it yourself and be like, oh yeah, that's why I'm inviting this person, or like, oh yeah, I'm fired up about this. And so it's kind of like a little help for yourself. And so I go to my invite page or whatever, my invite documents, and I can do it through my phone. Like I have the Google Docs app and the Google Drive app. So I'll go to that little like script and I'll be like, okay, this session right now, I'm going to invite all the people for my stories, or like 60 people or whatever my goal was. And I have specific scripts pertaining to like what I'm inviting them to and where I'm inviting them from. So it'll say invite to liker, invite to story watcher, invite to new follower, right? And so like I've invited those people all before, and so it just creates that like confidence and like ease for me to know, okay, like this is the thing I can use to invite this person. It's already kind of like tuned to them and like where they're watching from or who they are. And so that's what I'll use as like my base. I go to that script, and then for instance, like I'm inviting somebody watching my story, it'll say something like, hey girl, I see you creeping on my stories. I love that you are interested in my workouts, or something funny like that. Like I always kind of call them out on watching me. And then I'll just be like, if you've ever wanted to join, or if you've ever wanted to do a workout like this, I have a new boot camp starting in like 2 weeks, and the workouts are going to be super similar. I'm so hyped up for it. Like, would you ever be interested in learning more about it? So that's the last tip I want to like mention, is never ask someone like, are you interested in joining me? Because like, first of all, you just like wrote a sentence. Like, why would someone say yes to you asking like, would you ever be interested in joining me in this little like thing? Like, they have no idea. They have no information about what you're doing. So you have to just like open the door and be like, hey girl, like, would you be open to learning more? Because you see that like they're already interested in it. So it's just a question of like, are you interested in learning more, as opposed to like joining me right off the bat? Because I know if I got an invite like that, and this goes back to like, who is your person? Like for me, I always put myself in their shoes, and I say, if I got an invite like that, interested in like learning more, I would say like, heck yes. Like what do I have to lose to learn more? And so like, yes, that doesn't necessarily mean that your person who said yes is going to be 100% yes and they're going to sign up. But guess what? It gets their foot in the door and it plants a seed. And not only are you like giving them information so that they have the decision to make and like balls in their court, but like later on, even if they say no, later on down the road, you can bring it up and be like, hey girl, like I would love to like share that information with you again. I know last time wasn't a good time. Or hey girl, I know I shared that information with you last time and it seemed like you were a little hesitant and like it wasn't the right time, or you were having some financial struggles or whatever. Like you can go back and it's like this relationship is already forming. You're already like making connection points beyond Instagram. But that's the next thing. So after I ask that, let's say they said, yes, I would love to learn more. You can kind of already get a sense of like where they're at based on how they respond to that, because some people are like so hyped up and they're like, oh my gosh, I've been so afraid to ask you. And you're like, woohoo, they're going to say yes. So after they say yes, I will usually ask, where is the best place to continue the conversation? Because I've had so many freaking people hop on over to email because that's where I want to talk to them, and then I lose them because they won't answer me, and maybe email wasn't the best place to even chat. And so I usually ask, where is the best place to share this information, or do you use email? Should I contact you there or here? And if they don't respond like really quickly, sometimes I'll just send them my video. I made a video just like Carly, and it lays out, this is my story, this is the accountability fam, this is how the groups work, this is the basic package, and this is how you start. So usually I will wait for them to respond, and if they say yes, like Instagram works, then I'll just send that information there. But if they say yes, email, then I'll send it there, obviously. And sometimes before they answer, I'll just send that first video, and I'll just have a really simple like little message and be like, here, watch this while you're thinking about like where we can chat more. Because once you get them to watch the video, like I feel like you just have like at least a whole foot in the door, as opposed to like just like one toe in the door. Like it's you're easing in like really slowly, because people are skeptical these days and people get these kinds of messages all the time. So going back to like, remember and think about how your person would respond, because your person would respond differently than my person is going to respond. Like my person is like happy and bubbly and similar to me, and so they're not going to feel like I'm being fake or salesy when I say things like that, because I know I wouldn't feel like I'm being fake or salesy if I heard somebody saying that. Like I would say yes to that. So like flip it around and think about like, who am I and what would I say yes to, and how would that like go down mentally for me? Because like I said, your person is going to respond in the way that you would respond. So think about that. That's basically like how my invite process goes. And like the rest is self-explanatory. You know, if they say like, oh, awesome, I loved your video, like blah, 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 I have these questions, you can just continue that conversation either on Instagram or on email. If they say no right off the bat, I'll be like, no worries, like thanks so much for your love and support on my post or my story, like that was amazing. I really appreciate it, and honestly, I think you seem like a really cool person. I would love to continue like connecting with you. And so then sometimes I'll ask for their email, sometimes I'll just say like I would love to continue connecting and like see where they're kind of at. But like the cool thing about this is it is very like moldable to you and your business and you as a person. So I'm gonna like give you all of this stuff to use, but you guys like have to implement it in your own way, and be aware that like every person is different, every conversation is different, and every single person, like you have to judge the situation off of like your own intuition, and just be a people person. Like I know there are a lot of introverts out there. I'm like an introvert. I know Carly's even an introvert, but like we are still inviting with confidence and like being successful in this, because you just have to think about like, how would you respond as an introvert? What would you want to hear as an introvert, right? So that's like literally all I have to share. If anybody has any questions, I can just come up with some more stuff while we wait. Oh, the last thing I guess I can talk about, like tracking. So what I want you guys to like not get freaked out and worried about is like tracking every single one of these conversations, because I know that can get overwhelming. But what I really like to do, so like I make that list, right? And I like write down all the people's names that I invited. And once I get done with that, I will have like a little code for myself or a system, and sometimes I write it on the top of the paper, and I'll say like heart if they said yes, or minus sign if they said no, or circle if they said not right now but sometime later on. But that literally is just helping me kind of like get a sense of like who I can start to like rely on and like keep following up with. But honestly, if you like don't want to follow that tracking system, or if you don't want to follow a tracking system at all, like it's not gonna be a problem if you just like stay consistent and up to date with all of your messages, like on DMs and email. If you're checking that stuff every day, like you really don't have to track it like so diligently if you're doing like a crap ton of invites and stuff. Like I don't really anymore. I just have confidence in that like the people who are a yes and like a hardcore yes are going to like keep showing up in my DMs and in my emails, and so like I will get them signed up. But obviously if there's like somebody I was messaging and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I love this girl, I need her, she's amazing, then I will make like a big note, you know, by her name, And then sometimes I will put, like, with those people where I'm like, this girl needs to sign up, like, I love her, I will go into Streak and I will create like a little box for her. If you're not using Streak, it's just like an email tracking system. You can download it. But I'll create a box, put her name in, and then if I don't have her email address yet, I'll just like make a reminder for myself and say like, ask for her email tomorrow. Or I'll put an update on like, check on this girl and like put in her Instagram handle. Because it's like, you don't need the email necessarily to contact them. The thing is, their Insta handle might change. But yeah, so that's like kind of how I track with all of this. Okay, Katie, you said, do you ever invite for coaching or do you let that come up later in the conversation? I honestly, these days, I usually invite just to the challenge groups, unless the person sticks out as someone that is like a coach or like would be an amazing coach. So it kind of just depends on like the season of life I'm in. I used to invite very diligently with like coaches and challengers, but nowadays I focus more on just like getting them in the door and getting them to become challengers, like I said, unless they stick out to me as somebody that I think would be a really amazing coach, because the coaching conversation always comes up in like amidst the sign up. So if they're willing to sign up to be a challenger, like I know they would be an amazing coach. But if I'm hosting like a coach workshop, that is the only time I will like invite to coaching, and it's the same process. Like I'll just be like, hey girl, like I'm hosting this little workshop, this live thing, and we're talking about coaching. I'm gonna go live. It's gonna be so much fun. I think you would be an amazing coach. Have you ever heard about this? Would you be interested in learning more? Again, like not inviting straight to the group, but would you be interested in learning more, just to get your foot in the door? Alyssa said, I love that you mentioned asking them where to continue the conversation. I feel like I've missed people because I switched to email also. Do you use the same script for Insta or you shorten it? So I like pretty much use all the same scripts for Instagram, and like sometimes I've even taken an email, because my emails I try to keep really short these days because people have the attention span of a goldfish, like on the National Wake Up Call. So sometimes I'll even like copy and paste the email that I was going to send to Instagram, because it's already pretty short. And if it's not that short, then I'll just like take out some parts, because really all people need to know is like the basics, and like my video pretty much explains everything. So I leave, a lot of the talking to the video. But yeah, I kind of just use like the same scripts for everything, email or Instagram. In your experience, how can you tell if someone may be an amazing coach? So, I mean, if they are posting on social media really consistently, like bloggers, for instance, are oftentimes like I think they would be an amazing coach, because number one, they're already doing the vital behaviors of like showing up and sharing their life on Instagram every single day. And then like people who maybe are yogis, I know a lot of like my market, I have like yoga teachers, and they're very consistent in their practice. Like they're posting about it every single day. So I'm like, okay, if they can be consistent in that, like they can be consistent in their health routine. But sometimes I just like get a feeling, like I'll see a girl and I like see that I resonate with her. Like we have a lot of things in common and she's so cute, and maybe she's like engaging with my social media quite a bit. Then I feel like I just have this feeling where I'm like, she would be amazing. But I mean, you honestly never know if somebody's going to be like a rock star until like they get signed up and start doing stuff. Could you link your video and script here for reference? Yes, I can totally do that. Okay guys, if that is all the questions I'm seeing, I'm just going to scroll back a little bit, but I don't think there are any more. You guys are so fun to talk to on here. I love doing live videos. Yay. Okay, well have a good rest of your day, guys. I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.